Alright everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be doing something very special because this will be the first installment of Product Battle! And today's episode will feature Murray Superior versus Dax Groom. For quite some time already, I've been having requests to do a review on Murray's pomade, which I thought I would not actually do because there are just way too many reviews out there. But suddenly I just had an idea to actually do a comparison video with Dax Groom and just revisit Dax, because my very first video in this channel featured a review on Dax Groom, which I really believed I could do better on, but hey, we all start from somewhere. Now, before the battle begins, I'll be discussing a few things, general things that kind of makes both of these pomades stand out from each other, but won't exactly be in. But these features would not be part of the actual competition because they're all really subjective. Now, first of all, let us discuss the design of both tins. Murray's is one of the most iconic pomades of all time, which comes in the bright orange tin with these two African American folks in the tin art with very finely groomed afros. And the Dax Groom is a lot simpler in design, but still very iconic. Any pomade user, pomade enthusiast, or just a beginner would be able to identify Dax Groom just by its text and color. And as we all know, different Dax products come in different colors, and Dax Groom comes in the red can to signify that it's their signature heavy. Now let's talk about the scent, which I really would not add into the contest at all because scents are just very, very subjective, and what you may like may be different from what I prefer. And basically, the scent of both Dax and Murray's are really similar to each other in my opinion, because they both have this barbershop talc powder kind of scent, but it just so happens that the scent of Dax is slightly stronger than that of Murray's and a little sweeter as well. To me, Dax Groom has a little more of a vanilla or honeycomb hint to it, while Murray's just smells straight like talc powder. Personally, I lean towards the scent of Dax. Maybe it's got to do with nostalgia because it was the very first pomade I used when I was in Germany, as well as the very first heavy pomade I've used in my life. Opening the tins up, you would find that the appearance of both pomades are rather similar. They're both quite waxy, but Murray's has a drier and slightly waxier appearance and a more pale yellow color, while Dax is a little darker in color while having a shinier and greasier appearance on the surface. Now the battle begins, and let us begin with the very first aspect to look at, the price worth. Now, the average retail price of Murray's in a drugstore in the United States is $2.25 US, and it contains 3 ounces of product. So if you do the math, $2.25 divided by 3 ounces gets you 75 cents per ounce. Meanwhile, the retail price of Dax Groom is $3 US, and it gets you 3.5 ounces worth of product. So if you do the ratios, $3 divided by 3.5 ounces gets you 85.7 cents per ounce. Therefore, in this case, Murray's wins for price worth because you pay less per ounce. Next up, we have the ingredients. Now, comparing the ingredients together, both look really, really similar to each other. Both contain petroleum or petroleum jelly as their base ingredients, as well as mineral oil and fragrance ingredients. But of course, fragrance ingredients are slightly different from each other because their scents are a little different. But the ingredients in Dax Groom that makes it stand out from Murray's are lanolin and benzyl benzoate. Murray's contains benzyl alcohol, which I believe is present for scent purposes, but it's not the same as benzyl benzoate. And I believe that benzyl alcohol really has no side effects to hair at all. While it really depends, for Dax it just really depends on what type of skin you have, because in some people, benzyl benzoate may cause a skin irritation. So again, for the ingredients, Murray's wins. Now let us talk about the application of the products. Murray's comes out very sticky and tacky, and you do have to apply a bit of pressure to get it out, but it's not too difficult nonetheless. It also does require a little bit of effort to break down, and applying it to your hair, you do get quite some tug. As you can see, the way I apply the product to my hair, I'm doing it pretty slowly because there is actually quite a lot of tug, especially if you apply it to dry hair, which is why you should never apply these products to dry hair. Apply them to slightly damp hair, so application will be easier. Meanwhile, Dax, although also having a sticky and tacky scoop to it, scoops out rather easier than Murray's due to its more greasy nature. And as expected, breaking it down in your hands is also easier. Application also goes in a little smoother compared to Murray's. Although still having that tug, it provides me with a noticeable less tug than Murray's does. Because Dax is easier to apply than Murray's, Dax gets a point. And now let's get to the styling. Here I'm combing Murray's into my hair, and you can tell that the comb moves rather slowly through my hair, so there's obviously that tug as I mentioned earlier. I find that this tug that Murray's gives me makes it a little difficult to manipulate my hair around. And I do find that although Murray's has an alright slickness, making my sides able to lay rather flat, it still gives me that problem I experience with a lot of waxier products where my hair just sticks up and spikes, especially around the back and my cowlick area. Now with Dax, there is still that tug of course, but it's significantly easier to comb it compared to Murray's, and combs in a little smoother. Because of this, I find that Dax also has better control, and the slickness on it is tighter as well. I still experience that spiky problem around the back of my hair, but still, the problem is not as bad with Murray's, and this product has a better stickiness to it as well, which is why the slickness is better. Murray's provides me with less control as well as more tug and resistance compared to Dax, therefore another point is awarded to Dax for easier styling. I'll be discussing the final style in terms of the overall appearance and shape of the hairstyle, the shine, as well as slickness. In the next clip, you'll see my hair with Murray's on the left and Dax on the right, and you can compare them for yourselves. As you can see, the shine in Dax is higher and better compared to Murray's. And with Murray's, although making my hair look a little spikier, I find it gives me a better and more natural rounded shape compared to Dax, which makes my hair look rather blocky. But Dax still gives me a better slickness and tightness overall. Now when it comes to the final style and finish, Dax wins 1 point for shine, Murray's wins 1 point for natural looking shape, and Dax wins another point for slickness. Now let's discuss the hold and endurance. After I shot the clips you just saw, I recombed my hair and then did an endurance test for about 5 hours. This is what my hair looks like to start with Murray's on the left and Dax on the right. And 5 hours later, there is a movement to both products, but I found that after 5 hours, my hair was even more out of place with Dax. So in this case, Murray's wins when it comes to hold. Now let's talk about another criterion to judge. Let's talk about the weight. I find that products with a heavier weight to my hair makes me feel rather less comfortable. Now both products, despite feeling rather waxy and heavy in your hair, I find that Dax has a more lightweight feel compared to Murray's, therefore for this round, Dax wins again. Now let's get to our two final aspects, build-up quality and washout. Now as you all know, both Dax and Murray's have a notorious reputation, especially Murray's, for having a really difficult washout, and it's one of the most difficult products out in the market today that are pretty difficult to remove from your hair. Now I'll tell you how I did the washout test. I'm not just one of those maniacs who would just go on shampooing my hair for rounds and rounds over and over, because really, nobody has the time for that. So what I did was use some Aussie 3-minute Miracle Moist Conditioner into my hair, and I used the same amount obviously for both tests. And then I'd leave my hair for half an hour, and right after that I would hop into the shower and shampoo my hair for one round with an equal amount of shampoo for both tests. And I find that with this particular test, more Dax is washed out of my hair compared to Murray's. So therefore, Dax wins in terms of washability, being easier to wash out than Murray's. However, when it comes to the buildup quality, Murray's wins compared to Dax, because I find that the quality of buildup that Murray's leaves behind is a tad cleaner compared to Dax. Dax has a more sticky and greasy feeling of buildup, while Murray's, although feeling also very dirty, it feels less sticky and greasy compared to Dax. Alright, now we reach the end of the battle, and before we reveal who the final winner is, here is a rundown of the criteria and points for both products. And if we calculate the points for both products, Murray's has 5 points, while Dax wins against Murray's by 1 point. So congratulations to Dax for being the winner of the two classic heavies. Do you agree or disagree with me on Dax being the winner of today's product battle? And do you think this was a fair fight? Let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell icon to never miss a single episode of The Squiddy Show. And don't hesitate to leave an idea or suggestion for a future episode, and I'll see you next time on The Squiddy Show.